Witches, 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 witches. When the crowd gets fussy, when the floor gets dusty, when your blade gets rusty, witches, witches. When your room smells funny, when a hex takes your money, what's gonna save you, honey? Just witches, witches. All you witches and all your old magicians, it's time to start listening to witches, witches. When the crowd gets fussy, when the floor gets dusty, when your blade gets rusty, witches, witches. When your room smells funny, when a hex takes your money, what's gonna save you, honey? Just witches, witches. All you witches and all your old magicians, it's time to start listening to witches, witches.
Well, you tried it just for once, found it alright for kicks, but now you find out that it's a habit that sticks, and you're an orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. Sneaking in the back door with dirty magazines, so your mother wants to know what all the stains on the jeans, and you're an orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. You're getting assault, but you still keep a beating your meat to pulp, and you're an orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. You're a Casanova, you're a no Joseph. It's a live on a fucking yourself to death. Orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. You're making out with school kids, winos and heads of state. You've even made it with a lady who puts the little plastic bombings on the Christmas cakes. Butchers, assistants and bellhops, you've had them all here and there. Children of God and the joy strings, international women with nobody hair. Ooh, so early you're asking in an alley and your voice ain't steady. The sex mechanics are off, you're more than ready. You're an orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. Johnny won't fuck you always and always. He's got the energy, he will amaze. He's an orgasm addict.
A new age of reason, brain treason to trick the mind. What good is searching if nothing's there to find? We arrive at this place of no return, my brothers, only to discover that our minds have led us away so far from the paper truth of who we are. What's right is wrong, what's gone is gone, what's clear and pure is not so sure. All promises become a lie, all that's benign corrupts and died. All the come forth, bear witness. See the prophet from your loss, beg for forgiveness. Only after you tally the cost. We arrive at this place of no return, my sisters, only to discover that our values rattles the ground on the show in the sea of what we could be. What's right is wrong, what's come is gone, what's clear and pure is not so sure. All promises become a lie, all that's been right corrupts and died. All the if it's real for me, do I have to prove it to you? Why do revelations fade to cold blue untruths? It's all so relative, subservient and torn on one's perspective. Yeah. What's right is wrong, what's come is gone, what's clear and pure is not so sure. All promises become a lie, all that's been right corrupts and died. All the always failing me.
Bad Religion on Witterson's Radio and Blood Ceremony with Into the Coven before that. And before that, Joy Division with Transmission. And before that, our new intro song written by one of my students, actually, Derek Hallamore. And we mentioned it.
And we love it.
We love it.
I was just
We love it.
mentioning because we have an intro song for our daily show.
Yep.
And I wanted something for this show. And so I was kind of looking around for songs called Wittershins, and I didn't really like any of them.
Somebody wrote us the song. It would be the one song that's not listed for copyright infringement, probably, in the whole show, unless I play a couple of my songs, because those don't pop up either. But, yeah, so we played it twice, and I think we'll play it on our outro today, since our first day. But we have our own song. We are Wittershins. Radio for your spiritual side. A twisted approach to the left-hand path. I am Michael Carell, sometimes known as Uncle Birch, and my emotional support clown to the right of me is
Marta.
Yeah.
I mean, your baby mama.
Baby. Yeah. And many other things. Yes. Well, hell.
You know,
we took the day off yesterday, and now we're here.
and we keep talking on our morning show about how it's a beautiful day and it's warm and stuff. So now that we have the time change, it's, a little on the dark side. The sun already went down, And I'm actually kind of chilly for the first time in a long time since we've been doing this show, since we've been up here, and like I'm coveting a hot tub or something.
Yeah, we didn't do our Facebook Live video for the beginning of the show. Well, first of all, we got to change the lighting, and second of all, we got to I think we've got to move the phone farther from the monitor. Our last time they muted half of the Facebook Live whenever we were playing music because copyright infringement again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It said the video was partially muted, and then I looked at it, and it's like, that's why. I think we were too close to the monitor, and they only heard the music. We weren't talking.
Change the song title with a Sharpie, and then they'll think it's another song?
Normally that wouldn't work, but we're clearly in opposite land. Yeah. It might work. In
times like these, modern times call for modern measures, so it might work.
So we just deny oh God, I need that song. We were just talking about how the songs that we need to export from our mobile broadcast system into our non-mobile broadcast system, because we have a smaller music library here. But Circle Jerks, man, deny everything. Oh, we could use that song all the time.
Yeah, baby.
Oh dear, Witters. So we took the day off. It was our son's birthday yesterday, so we didn't do either show. But we had to. We had our theme song.
Debut our theme song and introduce it to you guys because we love it.
So we came on the air more to, debut our theme song than anything else.
So see you next week.
Bye. Well, we did dig up some stories and stuff from the
we don't talk
from the internet.
Too much about news anymore on this one because we have a morning show where we do it every day, Monday through Friday. But there's always a couple of new things that have come out since we did that show this morning. Yeah. Like how all the Republicans are still saying that they don't care how many witnesses we have, what they have to say. There's not going to be a smoking gun. They said no matter what witnesses you guys bring out and no matter what they say, we prefer to go by Donald Trump's account that there was no quid pro quo. So that again, they're moving the goalposts back. First they said we gotta have a vote, and then they said there was no quid pro quo. No, well, first they said there was no quid pro quo, and then you have to have a vote, and now we have proof that there was a quid pro quo, and now they're saying, well, it doesn't matter if there was a quid pro quo, but now they changed from that, and they're saying, well, Donald Trump insists that there's no quid pro quo, so we don't care who these witnesses are that are, testifying or doing the deposition under oath. They don't care. So it doesn't matter who we trot out there and what they have to say and how much they know and where they were and if they have it in a text or, whatever. It doesn't matter because they are all, well, not all of them, but the stupid ones, which is most of them, they have decided that from now on, they're only going by what Trump says. So it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Trump said there was no quid pro quo, and that's good enough for them.
And okay, so we're on Wittershins, so this is our our witchcraft focused show. So I would have to think of it in terms of witchcraft. I know it's gone insanely far, and I could never have imagined how far it's gone, but there's still magical rapport. Magical rapport says, "Don't lie." Wait, let me double check our mic here. I see some weird shit. Might just be the traffic. Okay, yeah, just the traffic. Okay. If you lie, your gods, your spirits, your ancestors know it. They hear it. Your words become meaningless upon the air the more you lie, and they start to take you less seriously. And I always, teach that and profess that, and hopefully at some point that'll catch up. because we got a pathological liar. We got a guy that he lies about shit that doesn't even matter, and that's always the sign of a pathological liar. When they lie about shit that's not even fucking important, it doesn't fucking matter. They lie about everything. We've got a pathological liar in the White House, and eventually that's got to catch up. So whether he professes Christian gods and caters to his evangelical crowd, but he's never been fucking Christian. He was never fucking Christian before that. And quite frankly, if we're to believe the Christians and their estimation of their values, he would be very anti-Christian. Adultery is one of those sins, right? The 10 laws.
Well, not just commandments.
Yeah.
Not just adultery, but fornication. He fornicated before he ever got married.
Yeah.
That's a sin.
Bearing false witness. That's lying, right?
Yes.
Yes. Coveting the neighbor's wife. We can go
Yeah.
on.
Yep. He covets everybody's wife.
Covets everybody's wife. Grab him by the pussy because he can get away with it.
Yeah, and then he has that new person, like his new spiritual advisor. This woman, Paula something, I don't remember her last name, but her name is Paula. And she just thinks the sun shines out of his ass. And she said she had a dream that he built her a glass cathedral that she would lead.
And, we're not far from that. That already happened. The Crystal Cathedral, it's in Orange County. It's right over here.
But that's what they're referring. He saw something on. Somebody saw something on TV, and then she had a dream about it because Trump was like, "Let's do that before we are too old and tired," or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Crystal Cathedral, and I think, there was another story about her. She told her parishioners or whatever that they had to donate. I don't even think it was like 10%. I don't even think we're like talking about tithing anymore. All of their salary, or God would punish them. This is Trump's spiritual advisor.
I don't remember seeing that anywhere.
Yeah. So I saw that one this morning. But it wasn't even like a percentage. It wasn't like a tithe. It was like they had to donate their salary for, I don't know, maybe a month. I don't know what the designation.
And she's like a multi-millionaire.
Of course.
Yeah.
So is the dude that, I forget who the dude is that has the Crystal Cathedral now, but yeah, he's always been a multi-millionaire. Now, the title for today's show, I forget what it even was. The safe space. It depends on how you can cast a circle. We have interviewed so many people attacked by militant groups within our communities because they make them feel unsafe, or it's not a safe space if those people were around. And that's kind of the thing I was thinking of when I was like reading this one story here that we're going to read in a bit. Witchcraft isn't safe. Paganism isn't safe. Magic isn't safe. There is no safe space. And to force others to conjure that up when it doesn't exist in reality is pretty ridiculous. I think a real witch, somebody that's not here because they have no social life and we're the only people that will let them hang out with us. A real witch gonna make their safe space. I make my safe space every fucking night. I make my safe space every time I fucking do a ritual. It's called casting a fucking circle, bitches. Do your own fucking work. I never expected anybody to come forth and cast my fucking circle for me. I never expected any of my coven members or my high priest and high priestess to come and fucking cast my fucking circle for me. Witchcraft isn't safe. Just today, I got kicked off of, practical witches. I might be muted. I might not be kicked off, but I lost my interaction because I was involved in this post where somebody that referred to themselves as a, quote, baby witch, unquote, wanted to or had been called by and wanted to conjure the angel of death. I won't say the name here because this is the kind of thing that borders into whether that's a demon or an angel, that particular name that this baby witch used. And everybody on this page was encouraging her, and telling her, here's what I would do, here's what I would do. And I said, maybe a baby witch should learn the basics of magic before cavorting with demons and angels. Oh, did I start a shitstorm. A shitstorm that, eventually got me kicked off because, I held to my fucking guns. And when people argue with people, somebody said, you're demeaning her and treating her like her life, her life is less than yours, or her magical experience is less than yours. And I tend to respond the same way when I hear that kind of stuff. It's like, I feel that you have a certain baggage because somebody in the world treated you like you were less than and belittled you. But this is not that. And I am not that person. And we will not discuss your baggage in this argument. And I understand that never goes over well, but that's fucking reality. People bring their personal shit to the fucking argument, and you trigger certain things. You'll say something like an ex-boyfriend of theirs said once upon a time, and piss them off, and then they're responding to you like you're the fucking ex-boyfriend. I recognize it every fucking time that happens, and I'll fucking call it out every fucking time, and I won't fucking have the argument from that standpoint. Again, like I said today, if you're going to come at me, come correct. Come at me with logic, reason, evidence to support your case. I don't care about your emotional baggage. I don't care about your emotions. I don't care if you felt unsafe by my comment. If you felt unsafe by a person's comment, you really should fucking shut yourself away in a fucking cave somewhere and fucking brick it up. Unsafe from a fucking comment on the fucking internet. So anyway, I eventually got kicked off of this page for sticking to my guns and defending my fucking argument. And when everybody said anything, I said, you people are encouraging this person that just called themselves a baby witch to conjure up the angel of death, and are giving them instructions, bad instructions too. Believe me, I've conjured the angel of death. They were bad instructions. But they were giving instructions on how this person that called themselves a baby witch could achieve what they set out to do. I merely pointed out that might not be such a good idea. Now, maybe you learn how to cast a circle first. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's me. You learn how to cast a circle and a triangle of invocation to capture the demon or the spirit in, which is outside of the circle. And there, in that circle that you're in, you got your safe space. Yeah. All the way back to Solomon, Agrippa, Abramelin. What was the other one? Plinky? I forget the new one that I just learned the other day. Larry, Curly, and Moe. They knew how to create a safe space. And none of them called on their community to come create a safe space for them. Imagine Solomon, Agrippa, call for you, Larry, Curly, and Moe. Hey, Moe, come create a safe space for.
Oh, wise guy.
Create a safe space for me. No, that's the safe space thing has been used as a cloak for bigots in our midst. And I ain't gonna call it anything fucking different. You're gonna drive out somebody out of your community that you don't like. You're gonna holler out about your fucking safe space, and I ain't here to fucking provide it for you, and I ain't gonna fucking make it safe. And I never said it was. Yeah, I preached it. Y'all said preach it, so I preached it. Okay? Make your safe space, bitches. I teach how. My kids, hey, you out there? I see some of you in the chat room. You know how to make a safe space, Jamie? Yeah, I know you do. Rachel, well, your first class just went out like a couple hours ago. It took me like fucking all night to upload the thing. My the first couple classes in my year and a day course, I had not quite learned how to compress video. And so I sent things out that were several gigabytes. It didn't need to be gigabytes. So it gets better. So hopefully you've been able to download the class and watch it by now. I know it took me forever to upload it, but you know, we're here in the heart of Hollywood, and we have an internet connection like a fucking third world country. But my kids, you know, probably even before they became my kids, you know, they know how to make a safe space. That's your job. That's why we cast circle everywhere we go. It's like since our ancestors weren't allowed to have temples, we create temples everywhere we go. A temporary temple, it's called a circle. It's called your altar. It's called your four quarters. We create that temple space, then we take it down, and we take our safe space wherever we go. We cast it wherever we go. And I've seen this, you know, we just had another guest a couple weeks ago. They used that to drive her out. This safe space fucking argument. This in witchcraft. This in paganism. This in pantheism. All of these isms that we fucking have. None of these people know how to make themselves safe. So really, I'll say it. Nobody else going to have the fucking balls or the guts or whatever to say. They shouldn't be in our space. You know? If you don't have a witchcraft, get the fuck out. If you're here just because no other social group on earth will accept you, get the fuck out. We're here about magic and shit. And we have communities that revolve themselves around magic and shit. We are very diverse. We have all kinds of different magics and shit. And the only thing that really binds us as things to be called communities is the magic and shit. You know, you may be bonded by the geographical type of magic and the location it comes from and your particular whatever you got. That's the thing. The magic and shit is what brings us all together. You know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the magic and shit. I can have a social life.
We've called this show Magic and Shit.
We could, but I think it was, you know, something about the safe space, and one of the first. I've been trying to like make titles related to some of the news stories that we're going to have ahead of time, which you never really put a lot of thought ahead of time.
Listen to me this morning when I wanted you to put Virginia.
Oh, do we miss that this morning?
No, you missed it. You put something else on after I asked you to put Virginia.
Okay. All right. Well, I fucked that one up. Okay, I missed it. All right. I don't. What the hell did I put? I don't even remember what I put.
Stupid. Something really stupid.
I remember that we're being really pressed for time, just typing some shit in.
One word. One word. I made it
Virginia.
easy for you. I dumbed it down. But no.
Yes, Virginia. There isn't a Santa Claus.
No, that's not what I want.
But really, for all my rants, for all the preaching, you know, I was really referring to our first story here, and it's from Patheos. Patheos Pagan by John Beckett. Paganism isn't safe when rituals scare you. Here's another question from our recent conversations under the oaks. I'm an agnostic, but I've been leaning a little bit more towards paganism of late. I did one of the rituals outlined in your blog, the weekly ritual of focus and protection. Had a very powerful experience with the force I'm cautiously referring to as Morrigan. We're just talking about the angel of death. All right, that's the Irish angel of death. There we go. I'm a doubtful person by nature, so I backed off rituals for a while to give me some time to process what I experienced. My question is, have you ever had an experience, maybe early on, that made you take a step back from paganism? Whether it was because you weren't sure it was real, or because it was so intense it made you nervous. Do you think the gods would take offense to that? Or that you would damage your relationship with them? The gods are patient with beginners mostly. I'm trying to get this pop-up window off here. Oh, there we go. Taking time to process new experiences is good, and particularly when they challenge a long-held worldview. In my experience, the gods, or rather the gods with whom I'm acquainted, I can't speak about all of them, are very forgiving with beginners. They're aware that we live in a culture where their norms and protocols haven't been widely known for centuries, and they're playing a long game. If they smite or abandon beginners for minor slights and mistakes, they're not going to build much of a following. Plus, they're gods who are full of virtue, not insecure egomaniacs. Well, I don't know. We're going back to our Greek roots and stuff. I don't know. Some of our pagan gods had some... Oh, God. What the fuck just happened? Why did it jump back to the beginning? I hate that. Let's see. The fair folk aren't. Okay. That's worth repeating, kids. The fair folk are not. And it fucking jumped again. Oh my God. The fair folk are different. A bargain is a bargain. And your ignorance is your problem, not theirs. Now, fairy royalty usually aren't petty. They're playing a long game too. But both the stories of our ancestors and contemporary experience remind us that the good neighbors are offended by most any discourtesy or disrespect, and they tend to respond in what we would consider a disproportionate manner. Oh fuck, that's beautifully said. Magic has its own rules. I don't think any human completely understands them at all, but I think it's safe to say that when you work magic, any magic, you step away from the herd and you start glowing. I'm speaking metaphorically here. The point is that you make yourself visible to all kinds of persons, and some of them are not particularly benevolent towards humans, and that's on top of whatever forces your magic sets in motion. I'm giving a long answer to remind everyone that what is true of gods is not necessarily true of other persons you may encounter, but I think it's very unlikely any gods took offense to backing away for a while just because you experienced something that disturbed you. A search for truth. Now, as for me taking a step back from paganism, either because I wasn't sure something was real or because it was too intense, the answer is no. And the reason is the same in both cases. From the time I began to realize what the Baptists were teaching me ain't necessarily so, my religious practice has been a quest for truth, not the truth. That's a question for philosophy, not for religion. Rather, I've spent a lifetime trying to figure out which stories are historical and which are mythical. And for those that are mythical, which ones teach truths that are meaningful and helpful, and which ones teach lies designed to manipulate and control others. I'm building a model of the universe that will never be finished, but that with more evidence and more experience can do a better job of explaining who I am and what I'm doing in this life. If something seems unreal, that's a signal to investigate more deeply. Am I assuming supernatural source for something with this world cause? Sometimes that strange light in the middle of the night is the neighbors playing with a flashlight, and sometimes it's not. If something should be impossible, but there is nonetheless, we're told we've just haven't figured out the proper rationale. i.e. materialist explanation, and sometimes that's right, but sometimes the answer is to change your view of what you assume is possible. Do that often enough and you will start to understand what we call consensus reality is merely the results of centuries-long popularity contest. Yes, consensus reality is quite useful in many places, but it's less helpful in others and flat out wrong in some. I've adjusted my model of the universe numerous times. My polytheism went from very soft to a diamond hard after several first-hand experiences of deities that were different from each other. Understanding the gods as many and not as one is a more useful model and thus probably a closer approximation of the truth. And I agree with this author, and I'm trying to scroll up to the top and it's fucking lagging, so I told you the author at the beginning, but I wanted to tell you again. John Beckett, excellent article on Patheos Pagan at patheos.com. I've oft said the same thing. I think that the gods we tend to work with in most pagan traditions appreciate being remembered more than they are offended by our slights. But people do tend to confuse those with fairies, the fair folk, other stuff. Other entities, not so much. Fairies, demons, no, they no slack. They cut you no slack. But none of this was meant to be a safe space. We are traveling between worlds. We are staggering between worlds. And each world has their own rules. And each time we're dealing with a different spirit or what have you, they have your own rules.
I would love to watch you stagger between the worlds.
Like you haven't seen that.
Stagger?
Oh, yeah.
I've seen you crawl between the worlds.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to get down there in it. Get down there on it. Close to the floor, the ground. That's where, like, the real paganism is.
Yeah, I reckon I know.
So, like, we got to get you to, like, read one of these stories. Because, the morning show, everybody loves that, they get to hear you. You're cold?
Yeah.
We'll grab you another layer.
No.
Yeah, we got to grab another layer because it's going to get colder. And it's like, we got another hour. It's going to get colder.
Like a heat lamp up here.
Well, until we get the heat lamp, another layer.
Okay.
Okay. We'll be back with a layer.
ago in a dusty village full of hunger, pain, and strife, a man came forth with a vision of truth and the way to a better life. He was convinced he had the answer, and he compelled people to follow along. But the hunger never vanished, and the man was vanished, and the village dried up and died. At a time when wise men peered through glass tubes towards the sky, the heavens changed in predictable ways, and one man was able to find that he had thought he found the answer, and he was quick to write his revelation. But as they were scrutinized in his colleagues' eyes, he soon became a mockery. Don't tell me about the answer, 'cause then another one will come along soon. I don't believe you have the answer. I've got ideas too. But if you got enough naivety and you got conviction, then the answer is perfect for you. Sits choking on his discharge, overwhelmed by industry, searching for a modern day savior from another place, inclined for charity. Everyone begging for an answer without regard to validity. The searching never ends, it goes on and on and on for eternity. Then the answer is perfect for you. The answer is perfect for you.
Bad Religion on Widdershins Radio. And what you got?
Widdershins. I'm going to read something also from Patheos called How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Mercury Retrograde. My history with Mercury retrograde often looks like this. I break up with people, I fight with people, I don't read emails before I send them, and I forget promises I've made. Lovely, right? But I'm working on changing that. After all, opportunities abound. I have a chance to slow down, to consider what I'm doing, and what is working, not working. I have typo. I have time to go behind the scenes of my life to evaluate what I could be doing differently. Okay, hold on. So from this point on, no more Mercury retrograde blame. I'm looking at this time as a gift to myself, a gift of introspection, a gift of presence. Okay, so part of it just disappeared. Okay. It only looks like things are heading backwards. Mercury is said to go retrograde when it appears to be moving backwards in the sky. It isn't really. It's just how we see it because of the way it orbits the sun. And isn't that the way that life is? When we're in the middle of something, it seems to be going a certain way, and we might project onto it stories and judgments. We think people are against us, that things are happening because we did something wrong, pissed off a God, or aren't heading in the direction we're supposed to go. We tell these stories that make sense to us. The stories that fit what completes the cycle of beginning and end. We squeeze in details that support what we know to be true, even if we find out later they're incorrect or incomplete. In short, we're human. So, during the 3 times a year that Mercury retrograde happens, we can choose to continue these stories, these systems, and these the way things are perspectives, or heading inward and embracing the unknown. Let's step back for a minute. Let's move into a new place and into a new place of possibility. Quiet your mind. I'm guilty of letting my mind run away from me. And as a witch, that can mean I manifest things I don't really want. But I'm thinking about them so much that I find ways for them to be true. During this time, turn down the volume of input. Step away from social media. Quarantine the news. Not possible. Put your phone down. Close your eyes and breathe. Let thoughts and worries fall away. You can always come back to all of this. But when you step away, you may find the quiet much more inviting, even informative. Write about the facts. If you find you're stuck in a story, reduce it to the facts. Write it down to what you know 100% to be true. And even then, question how you know that to be true. Reduce things down to the barest essentials. What is there? What is actually there? Is it in your control? Is it so terrible? Note what isn't working. This can also be a time to think on the things that aren't working for you. Choose one thing to examine under the gaze of Mercury. What is happening? What do you wish to happen instead? If you're not sure what you want to change, focus on how you want to feel. That can guide you to the steps to arrive in that place. Make a wish list. I like to use this time to present, I think she means, lots of typos, to present the things I want to happen. I am not going to act on them right now, but I want to place them in the crucible of retrograde. Let them melt into something else. Surrender to transformation and the high temperatures of desire without attachment. Perhaps Mercury retrograde will offer you healing. Perhaps it will offer you clarity. In any case, I hope it opens up examinations and the possibility that by dismissing the illusions you hold for yourself, you can see what is truly yours. Aw, that was nice.
That's very uplifting. Thank you for uplifting us.
That's my job.
That's what you're known for and stuff.
Yeah. I've been saying that for a long time.
I've been saying that for a long time. I study planetary magic and use planets in my magic to propel me, never to hold me back. And I've often said that's one of my gauges of spirituality. Limitation or freedom. When something is limiting me, I don't find that spiritually valid. Limitations, I don't, something that's liberating me and giving me more freedom to do more things, I find that spiritually valid. So, planets, I always say, a witch takes the reins. I usually misspell that, and then Marta corrects me. No G. A witch takes the reins, not the ride. Mercury retrograde isn't a thing to fear, and they said the same thing that I said. We are farther away from the sun than Mercury, so Mercury has a shorter orbit. So both Mercury and Venus have a shorter orbit, so Mercury and Venus are going to go retrograde rather often because we will pass them in our orbit. And that's the retrograde, is they're seemingly going back.
What about the times when there's like Jupiter retrograde or Saturn? Those have larger orbits.
Exactly. And so like Neptune's retrograde till 2025.
Yeah, 'cause that's the
Nobody's bitching about fucking what Neptune retrograde's been doing to their fucking lives. But yeah, it's been retrograde for I don't know how many fucking years before that. So yeah, when those outer planets fucking go retrograde, it's huge, it's long, it's years, it's decades. Yeah. And I went through one when there was a lot of them retrograde. They do have an effect, but we're witches. We're here to ride the wave, not be sucked out to sea. Okay? You can surf or be caught in the fucking riptide. You decide. Just go ahead, discount everything I'm fucking saying. Or you go to my Uncle Birch page. You're going to have to scroll back. Unity of Wicca and Witchcraft, scroll back. Even on my personal page, I made a sigil, and I think I just put it out again. I think I put it out every time that Mercury goes retrograde. The triangular sail sigil. And I'll give you the rant again, in case I haven't given it here, and I probably have. Our ancestors once learned how to propel ships across the sea. And they had the broad sail, rectangular sail, held very, flatly. And, as long as the wind was at your back, you could go where you wanted to go. And if the wind shifted, sometimes you had to drop sail for weeks and just drift along out there in the fucking ocean, drifting off course until the wind shifted behind your back. And then you could go again. But then, some of our ancestors came up with this brilliant idea. It was a triangular sail. And then we actually see combinations. We'll see like 3 and 4 triangular sails in a row. With the triangular sail, they were able to sail, almost into the wind. Into the wind at a slight angle, using the wind that is against you to propel you forward against that wind. Now, magic follows the path of least resistance, but if you can use that same resistance to propel you in a forward direction at a slight angle from the center, why fucking not? Why only follow one set of ancestors when our other set of ancestors got it better? Then eventually, maybe we should just have nuclear fucking powered ships. And not even be worried about sails, because that's ancient too. But first of all, let's get to the triangular sail portion of it. But we can use these forces to propel us forward, even seemingly these forces are against us. We just have to wrap our witch mind around that. And I don't know, nobody's trying to wrap their witch minds around anything anymore. They're just repeating some shit they heard. Let's see. Get off my lawn, bitches. Let's see. Paganism is safe. Mercury retrograde. Oh, I got some more. You want to do the Hecate one? You would be good at the Hecate one.
The Hecate one.
Why Hecate and her witches are necessary now more than ever, by Cindy Brannon. Okay. Because they're all thanking you. They like to hear you commenting.
Oh, you guys. Okay. Oh, hold on. I always have everything in the wrong hand. Okay.
Yeah, baby.
Pipe down. Okay. This is gonna be my fireside chat.
Okay, here's your fire. You hear the bick?
No, don't light the sun on fire.
To hear the bick.
Okay. Why Hecate and her witches are necessary now more than ever. The Dark Mother offers healing as she guides her witches along their journey. She teaches that witchcraft is the medicine that will make us whole. That is my story and the one of Hecate's witches. It is necessary to stand in our truth in these chaotic times. As part of keeping her day... As part
Typo?
of... No, I'm a typo. As part of keeping our keys celebration in honor of our Dark Mother, I'm sharing the... God, I never... Okay, why do you make me read these ones where I have to pronounce stuff?
Agape Phoberos.
Okay, so you don't know how to pronounce it.
Agape Phoberos.
Okay, so if you don't know how to pronounce it,
Yeah.
why are you...
I didn't...
I know how to read.
Okay.
I thought you knew how to pronounce it. If you're going to stand there and go, agape, I can do that. Ugh, okay. I'm sharing the Agape Phoberos ritual that harnesses the power of Hecate's benevolent and baneful aspects so that we may understand the light and darkness within ourselves better. In addition, this article is also available in Spanish, as is the ritual. Read the Agape Phoberos ritual here in English or here in Spanish. Hecate is not a goddess for everyone, but she is absolutely necessary for humanity to survive, just as we, her witches, are. Not those who dabble at sorcery or manifestation, but those of us who go deep into the night to retrieve our souls and shine the light for others so they too can find healing in her dark, wet womb. We are a requirement for this planet, with a vital role to play in maintaining the balance of the world. She calls out to those she chooses is what it says. She comes to those who seek to understand themselves and the universe, to those who seek wholeness, and for those who hear the whispers of her ancient witches. We speak to the spirits and guide others through their darkness. We are shadow workers. We're at a curious point in Western history when the power structures created in the name of Christianity are crumbling, literally and figuratively, and humanity yearns for a connection to the deeper world. In these troubling times, it can be difficult to remember that we are her chosen. When the world is in chaos and our own journey is difficult, remember. Always remember whose you are. The Dark Mother's chosen, never broken, rising stronger, keepers of keys, seekers of mystery, practitioners of the craft, firewalkers, torchbearers, flamethrowers, shadow walkers, dragon tamers, banishers of the profane, binders of the evil, blessers of the true, eternal beautiful becomers. While there are many different ways of understanding Hecate, there is little argument over her status as an ancient, powerful, dark goddess. She is the night, the shadow, the rebirth. She is also the light that leads us through hell. She is necessary to guide us through these troubling times. May Hecate's torches light your way. In the beginning, there was only the darkness and the fire. Their daughter was the mother. With her first breath, she created the universe. On her second, she created her chosen, the witches. She gave us the moon to always remind us that she is with us as we pursue the keys she holds for us, those of mystery, healing, and power. The moon and the mother. The hounds are making noises. Like the moon, Hecate has gone through phases. Haven't we all? Here we are today, when her keys are readily available to all those willing to claim them. Hecate has risen, bringing her witches along with her. Keeping her keys, we find the truth, power, and kinship. Read more about Circe, the original witch, here. For more about the Queen of Poison, Medea, read this. For a summary of Hecate's enduring history, click this. Oh, there's more. The leader of the Horde. Yes, she is eternally of the dark. She is a mistress of the dead. Leader of the Horde, the Dark Mother. When Hecate first came to me, it wasn't as a wizened crone as she was so commonly portrayed. Nor was she merely a nefarious goddess to be feared. She was so much more. Everything I read seemed to only glimpse those keys of hers. Over time, I became enthralled with Hecate's long past. Never had I imagined that I would spend a huge chunk of my time reading ancient texts. I wouldn't have predicted that my future included learning how to read Greek and Latin, all in the pursuit of fully understanding this ancient goddess. I remain committed to pursuing these keys of mystery and wisdom. Mother's moon reveals the truth. Sitting under the pale moonlight, I'm reminded of how the phases of my own life parallel the lunar cycle. Just like the moon, I go through phases. The waning periods of removal, loss, and heartache. The waxen times of success and plenty. the fullness that can be wonderful, but at the same time too damn bright. Of course, there's my favorite time of all, when the moon refuses to appear. The darkest night is where the truth is often found. Then the glorious new moon, reminding me that it is never too late to start anew. Sitting here at this crossroads on this night under the moon, holding my keys. The mother of the moon who keeps the keys of creation. It is always the moon that we witches It is always to the moon that we witches return. For under her light we work our magic and explore the mysteries. Hecate's association with the moon is a subject that I've often written about, from ways to honor her on the dark moon to drawing it down Hecatean witchcraft style. Like seeing my own life as a series of lunar circles, Hecate's glorious history also follows clear phases, each one revealing different keys and unique crossroads. In the beginning, there was the mother. In the beginning, Hecate was most likely known by another name, as part of a great mother goddess. This goddess evolved and traveled into Anatolia and other parts of Asia Minor, spreading into what is now Eastern Europe. She became Hecate, adopted by the Greeks as their own. Was she Isis by another name? Or at the very least, the Egyptian goddess Hecate? We'll never know for sure, but what is known is that there was a period when the divine feminine was celebrated. It was the new moon, the future for the mother goddess looked promising. The keys of magic and mystery were abundantly shared, and the people knew her power. Hecate's cult grew, that much we know for certain, rising to a place where the regular practice of venerating her on the dark moon was most likely common in certain areas of ancient Greece. Ancient writers and philosophers wrote eloquently of her many powers. Her role as witch mother was solidified in many tales and by ancient practitioners. She was Kleiduchos, the keeper of the keys of all the universe. Then her chosen hid. Hecate reached her zenith around the beginning of the Common Era. She then transitioned into the Roman Empire, although her keys were shared with other goddesses, and her powers narrowed. A goddess holding the keys to witchcraft and necromancy she became. This was the onset of her waning time. As Christianity grew, the reverence for her and her companions was snuffed out, often with great violence. Her witches hid themselves and her keys. The complete darkness came. Her chosen retreated into the shadow, wielding their power through secrets and deception, as was necessary. The necessity of Hecate now. For those of us called to be follow her torches. I'm going to read it the way it probably should have been written. For those of us called to follow her torches through our own healing and to share it with others. As shadow walking truth weavers play a vital part in the web of life, we are as necessary as Hecate. Blessed are we. During these crazy days of personal transformation and societal upheaval, it's all too easy to forget that we are powerful. The witch's prayer of Hecate reminds us that we are limitless. Mighty Hecate, Queen of the Witches, my journey is a blessed one. Each key you give me unlocks great power. Grateful I am for all your keys. The key of acceptance for that which I cannot change. The key of courage to overcome adversity. The key of compassion for myself and others. The key of pain through which I discovered my own strength. The key of suffering in which I found healing. The key of peace that brings me contentment. The key of wisdom so that I may live a life of truth. In keeping her keys, School of Witchcraft is currently accepting applications for the Mistai. Learn more. Join Open Circle Coven for more Hecatean witchcraft and other Spanish resources.
Oh, man.
That was long.
Marta
Yes.
is High Priestess with a uppercase P, motherfuckers. Sitting here listening to her read such things, I left my fucking body. I'm glad I'm back here for the fucking show. But I went some places here, and Marta read, the Hecate. Oh, yeah. That did it for me.
We could do it again.
Yeah, we could do it again. Oh, fuck. But people are talking about how they like, how you correct stuff as you're reading and catch errors. It's like, okay.
I need to get to the point where I can correct it before I read it the wrong way, because it kind of trips me up for a second.
I know, but for students in my class, and I probably actually reference Marta when I say this, for in the very beginning of my class, we talk about, the people drawn to witchcraft. Everybody has a pattern recognition system beyond the norm. And that's almost like lesson 1 in my classes, is to figure out what is yours. It can be astrology, it can be tarot, it can be, those are common things. It can be, mathematics. Marta, it's language. If you ever, it'll cost you. But if you ever want to put out a book and have it be perfect, you want to fucking hit Marta up. She can't miss a mistake. It personally offends her. She gets very aggro. So, believe me, I'm telling you, we've been married a long time, man. Whenever I fuck something up, man, I hear about it in a very vehement way. She's like angry at me, especially if it's something that we're both doing. Like if I do something wrong in the beautiful day, when I type it in, it's like if it's something we're both doing, very offended. But she takes these mistakes.
On that shit.
So, as I've oft said, she can look at a wall of microscopic text, and immediately she starts twitching at everything that is wrong, be it grammatical, spelling, fucking content, consistency, format, you fucking name it. If it ain't perfect, Marta gonna fucking keep twitching until it's fucking perfect. Yeah, that's why she's here. Well, other things, that I'm not going to go into.
Last night.
We'll be back.
This is a warning, another cut to move on. Another beat that's so strong, hold on, and I get wicked and then some. Stir up shit as the wit gets wisdom. P-Dog coming up, I'm straight low. Pro-black and it ain't no joke. Coming straight from the mob that broke shit last time. Now I'm back with a brand new sick grind. So black check time and tempo. Revolution ain't never been simple. Following the path a mile and for no, just build your brain and we'll soon make progress. Paid your dues, don't snooze or lose. They came with the master plan and got you. So know who's opposed to the dominant dark skin. Food for thought is a law for the brother man. P-Dog with a gift from heaven. Tempo 116.7 keeps you locked in time with the program. When I get wild, I'll pile on dope jams, then spit on your flag and government. Cause help the black was a concept never meant. Nigga, please, food stamps and free cheese can't be the cure for a sick disease. Just the way the devil had planned it. Raped and pillaged everyone on the planet and give them fake gods at odds with all law. Love thy enemy and all that hoopla. Here close the words I wrote. Crack cocaine is genocide of black folk. Who in their right mind ever could have missed this? Damn right when you think seditious and I move swiftly. You can't get with me. The 666 move quick but miss me. When I came off involved in conscious. So don't ask why next time I start this. fill your mind up with know-how and common sense of defense. The next time a pig try to step to this, listen, never let someone whoop on you. They don't belong to the set you from. You can't be intrigued by the leads a pig lead unless you don't give a fuck to be free. Keep stomping on them, keep stomping. Attitude, but I ain't from Compton. I can't be fucked around, I'm muffed around. I can't be held down. Check the sound and keep in tune, on point, on target. The revolution won't be thwarted. A setback cause my man is plain to see. Must in a white supremacy, so let the rhythm roll on when I kick this. Brother's gonna work it out with a quickness. And now you know just why a panther went crazy. The devil made me.
Don't
The Damned on Widdershins Radio. And it occurs to me that I think there's still time. Let's see, what's today? Today's the 6th. Oh, shit. I think it's this weekend. The Mile High Conjure Gala. The 9th to the, I believe the 9th to the 11th. I gotta look it up. The Mile High Conjure Gala is a one-of-a-kind event in Denver, Colorado. It brings together esteemed teachers and elders for a weekend, opening the world of conjure to you. The presenters: Candelo Cambisa, Professor Charles Porterfield, Brother Moses, Michelle Jackson, Beverly Smith, Ifa Abeyu, Yaya Joycey, and Hoodoo San Moise. Get over to conjuregala.com. Get your tickets. It's this weekend, y'all.
Oh, wow.
This weekend. It says this is the last time we can plug this thing. You got to get over. You know, the Conjure Galas. It was coincidental, perhaps. One day we were bored, and we said, hey, you know, let's start our own podcast. And we set that up in probably about an hour. And we started broadcasting. We had no fucking material. Kind of like tonight or any other night.
Like Seinfeld?
Kind of like Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing. and we've been doing it. I think we're going on 3 fucking years or so. But right around the time that we started, this big brouhaha happened in the hoodoo communities.
Yeah, right around the time we started. Tigergate.
Yeah, Tigergate. It's like right after we started. It's like, you know, the first time we had any material was that the endangered elephant in the room, Tigergate and Tigergate 2, Electric Boogaloo. I don't know, but several of our early fucking broadcasts, which are still archived to this day, are the origins of the Conjure Galas. I said gala before, but now I know it's gala. The hoodoos doing it for themselves, breaking off from the group that they were originally involved in and creating their own festivals, their own stuff. In reality, they were the meat of the festivals that they broke off from. Those festivals that they broke off from were non-festivals after they left. And a bunch of...
Well, not for too much longer, because you know, she wants to retire. Maybe
Well,
that was
she was going to retire. I mean, she was going to retire already, but then the split happened, and that seemed to, you know, give her the impetus to do more.
Oh my God, I was thinking impetus.
Were you?
Said it, yeah.
I said the right word.
Yeah.
Yay! Marta said it was the right word. That's a banner fucking day for me.
Like when you were kind of struggling, I was like, he's thinking impetus, and then you said impetus, not to be confused with impotence.
No, I wouldn't say that. But yeah, so right when we were starting, this brouhaha that made the hoodoos go out and do it for themselves, and they've been doing doing it for themselves. And they've been doing a fucking good job. They had the Conjure Gala, you know, the Mile High. They had the Big Apple. I'm not sure if that's going to happen again or what's up with that. And was there another one?
We were going to do one.
Well, we were going to do one, but we never got around
Tragedy
that.
befell my existence.
Yeah, we had big plans, but but the Conjure Galas, man, check them out. They're doing it for themselves. I mean, really, like I said, they were the meat. These same people were the meat of those groups that they left. Without, I've looked at the lineup. Years past, a bunch of white people teaching hoodoo, and
it's not even hoodoo. There's like other kinds of magics that are in there that. You know, with that, you know, definitely have their place. And I, you know, we had when we went, like there were a couple things that weren't hoodoo, and I enjoyed it, but it's not hoodoo. And
hoodoo.
Now there's even less hoodoo. I think
less hoodoo.
They have. There was one. I don't want to say her name, but there was one person who was always there, and I'll tell you off the air.
Less hoodoo or fewer hoodoo?
Fewer hoodoo. Fewer hoodoo.
Ooh.
No, listen.
Okay.
Less hoodoo, fewer hoodoos.
Oh, I almost got you.
That's not gonna happen.
All right, so my next story is not even really a story. It's kind of like on our news show. I'm probably going to just read the headline because I couldn't believe this was a thing. How witchcraft became a safe haven for the LGBTQ community. And I'm not even going to read the story because I'm going, what? What the? Is this a question? The headline.
Oh.
How witchcraft became...
It was always a haven.
It was always a fucking haven. I mean, where I grew up, the witch store that I grew up in was in the gay section of Long Beach.
Well, even, beyond that, or in addition to that, we know a great many practitioners, particularly men, who are a part of the LGBTQ community.
Well, fuck. I mean, I'm trying to think of one that I know, a man in witchcraft or warlockism or whatever you want to call it, that I know of that's not gay.
Okay, I can tell you. Jason Mankey.
I was thinking Jason Mankey.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, because he's got a girlfriend. Okay. I know one. Woo!
He doesn't have a girlfriend.
He's got
Wife.
He's got a wife. We met the wife. Yeah. Oh, we're supposed to have him on the show. I got to follow up on that. But yeah, okay, so there's one. But I had to have Marta help me. That's how rare it is. I know that I'm a rare commodity, a heterosexual male witch in witchcraft. It's not ugly. I've known that most of my life. It's worked out pretty well for me. But I recognize that. And I mean, at least half of my teachers were gay men. The women, half of them were lesbians. I don't even think about that. I never like to, try and be like the people that say they're not racist. I don't see color. It's like, I don't want to say it's like I don't see rainbows, but I literally, it's been normal my whole life. And I recognize that for some people, it's, just becoming normal, or people had to fight for their normalcy. There's a lot that had to happen to get there. But in my particular world, those were my elders.
I thought of another one.
Okay.
Utu.
Yeah, I think he's hetero. I almost said straight. Ooh.
I mean, I don't know for sure, but...
pretty sure.
Okay.
There's some others that are, at least bisexual or whatever, and yeah. But it's never really been a thing because
bisexuals are part of LGBTQ.
Well, my entire life. Well, yeah, okay. So the acronym has become larger, but back, in my day, it was
always in there. Bisexual.
I don't know if they were really listed in the thing in the early 80s. It was about the gays and the lesbians fighting for their rights.
So it was just LG?
I don't even know if they went acronym yet.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they even did that because we didn't have hashtags. Right. We didn't have hashtags or any of that kind of thing, so I don't know if they had a thing like that.
Say, like we always had acronyms.
Yeah. But also, I would like to also say that, from an exterior perspective, hypothetically, during that time, the lesbians and the gays had a solidarity that they do not have now. They're separate, they're in the same acronym. Everybody's in the same, but they all have their individual
the same umbrella.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Over time, it became specific. They had to have, the pink triangle, but before that, the rainbow really goes way back. And everybody was everybody at gay pride parades. They all under the same banner. It was cool, but over time, there's different segments and different letters on the.
I think there was. If it was first, it was LGBT, and then there was LGBTQ, and then is there LGBTQI?
Which one's the I? Indifferent?
No. I don't know.
Inquisitive?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. You know, we were trying to keep up. We really are, but they keep adding letters onto the thing. But at any rate, just like the fact that this was a story just kind of shocked me, because my entire life in witchcraft, you know, most of it was dominated by Wicca. You know, we were the first religion to embrace such things because they involve sexuality.
I was half right. It's LGBTQIA. It was what came up. But, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, or questioning. And then the I is intersex. And the A is... Yeah, okay. And the A is asexual or allied.
All right. Somebody, Lisa said intersex, allied. Oh, God, I can't keep up with the... Really?
Oh, here's a story from the Chicago Tribune. Why LGBT initialism keeps growing.
Go ahead.
It's a couple years old, but LGBT is an evolving abbreviation, a process that in and of itself isn't so remarkable. Language morphs all the time, but what's happening with LGBT, like nearly all things pertaining to lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people, hits on age-old struggles around issues of sexuality, identity, gender, and freedom of expression. What should people be called? Members of the LGBT community have likely grown up hearing some pretty nasty words and labels. The bus ride home from high school was always hell for me, and even the non-pejorative words can get a little grating. Homosexual, anyone? So now there's LGBT, which has turned LGBTQ in a growing number of turned into LGBTQ in a growing number of circles, with the Q standing for queer, a controversial word given its past derogatory use, and or questioning. Also becoming more prevalent is LGBTQIA. The I stands for intersex and the A for asexual and or allied. It's very culturally and generationally driven, said Margot M. Jacot, founding director of the Juniper Center, a psychotherapy practice in Park Ridge. The question is just how abbreviated should this initialism be? Debate about this topic isn't new. Take a look at a 2012 posting on Michael Holshoff Schmidt's Social Justice for All blog, co-authored with his husband Robert, titled "What's an Acronym?" Parsing the LGBTQQIP2SAA community. Using LGBTQ... Oh, I'm sorry, I keep saying Q. Using LGBT explicitly calls out key components of a diverse group. They wrote, adding that as shorthand goes, it's fairly effective, recognizing the spectrum of sexual orientation and gender identity in 4 simple letters. Okay, so it keeps going, but you get the point.
I'm trying to get my phone to recognize my thumbprint here.
I'm just scrolling and it keeps going. It's not even over.
My goodness.
I'm still scrolling. I would have run out of breath by then. Okay.
Okay. Let's see if I have anything else. 6:40. What story?
The headline.
No, I wasn't going to read that story because I don't get that that's even a question. In my lifetime, you know, we were the first. Wicca was the first religion to openly embrace such things, and they were dominant forces my whole life. So it's like when I meet a heterosexual male witch, you know, it's a time to rejoice. You know, we're gonna be bros, man.
So you guys are gonna be like try to go for the same chicks and stuff. It'll be great.
That'll happen too, but you know, at least you're not grabbing my ass all the time. I mean, I've got to say, for you know, some of my, I won't say the majority, but the most prominent gay male witches in my life, got away with fucking murder. I mean, it's like not only is the guy I'm talking about that would grab my shit all the time, but how about the time he pulled your pants down?
Yeah, when I was on crutches. I was on crutches walking down the street, and a really good friend of mine was walking with me, and he thought it would be funny if he pulled my pants down because I couldn't lift him up. I was just wearing pajama pants because I was on crutches and I didn't care, and slippers. But he pulled him down, and there's a really busy street, and he was laughing, and I was like, yeah? So I, put the crutches up and sort of shouting, help! And I was, wanting people to kick his ass, so then he stopped.
Whenever we'd go out to eat at the same place, he'd be groping me under the table. I literally stabbed him with a fork so hard I drew blood one time. It's it just occurs to me that in most situations in life that would be inappropriate behavior, but somehow both of those things, pulling her pants down in public and groping me under the table, was acceptable because he was gay. I don't think that's right, but it just was.
Well, the thing is, I don't think the fact that he was gay really even had anything to do with it. We just have that kind of sense of humor. I remember the first time I met him, we were his teachers in our Witchcraft 101 class, and they all introduced themselves, and then the second week he was talking about how his studio caught on fire, and I just looked at him and I said, it's always something with you, isn't it? And he thought that was the funniest thing he's ever heard. And so ever since then, that type of humor has characterized our relationship. So I think that's why he did it. I don't think he'd just do it to, some straight woman that he was walking with. I think he specifically did it because it was me. That's just how it is.
But even, yeah. All right, I'm maybe going to go there.
What?
Nothing. No.
Oh, the other stuff.
The other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, there's deeper stuff. We'll talk about that.
We're going to talk about that stuff.
But my teachers never did anything like that. It didn't matter that they were gay. Wasn't an issue. Some people tried to make it an issue in my tradition during one of their witch war faction fight kind of things, but didn't really work very well. But it's just I'm shocked that that's a story. But then when that story first appeared on in my feed and on Facebook, I commented that it always was, and that people commented, of late there's been this other thing going on. I said, oh wait, are you talking about Z Budapest? oh. Well, back in my day, Z Budapest was a man hater, and we men were taught that we were supposed to accept a large amount of what we would now call socially unacceptable behavior, because our religion was making up for patriarchy, and there was a lot of bad blood there, and we understood that the people are going to have to vent some stuff on us because we have dicks and stuff, but it went on.
That's where we're here.
It went on too long with Z Budapest and her cohorts, and I said on this page, I said, oh, so we're talking about Z. Yeah, back in my day, she just hated men, but now she hates women that used to be men. I don't know how we would even say that.
Trans women.
Trans women. She hates trans women. So if you had a dick ever, she hates you.
That's how the term TERF came about. It's trans exclusionary radical feminist. I don't know how.
That's why I can never be a TERF.
They feel about trans men, but trans women aren't allowed in their circles.
Well, wouldn't okay, so wait, hold on. So trans men would be a woman that turned into a man.
Yes.
Wouldn't they consider that a traitor?
I don't know what they...
Gender traitor?
I've never asked them how they feel about it.
I'm thinking they're going to go there. You're a gender traitor. You joined the patriarchy.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Well, you stone her to death.
Well, the thing is, I don't think... Well... since they always say that only, I don't know about always, but incident I'm thinking said biological women only because the women were all going to be naked. So does that mean that they would allow trans men because they're biological women also?
These are the questions
before, and it was kind of like a moment. We weren't sure.
that plague our troubled times.
Yeah, I don't know if they would, because I have seen some transgender men who look like fucking men, even though they're biologically women. So I don't know why they would allow that, but I don't know. I haven't asked.
Again, the questions that plague our troubled times.
Like the whole issue where they were talking about bathrooms and if, trans people should use the bathroom of their birth gender or the preferred gender, and it's always like this huge fight that everybody's having. And like I said, I've seen some transgender men who, if they walked into a women's bathroom, somebody would call 911. So what are they supposed to do?
Exactly. I have nothing else.
Me neither.
Then we're going to rock out on Waitershins. Thank you for joining us on a Wednesday. I have most of the regulars here and some other irregulars.
I'll grab my dildo. I'm just kidding.
Waitershins. We'll see you next time. Oh man, that's just too low volume. Sorry about that.
This one's dedicated to all you Gucci bag carriers out there. It's called You Got Good Taste. I got this stuff on the tip of my tongue. Chandeliers light up the pictures you home. Woo! You got good taste. Woo! Baby, good taste. Oh, you got good taste. Oh, baby, good taste. Well, you got a big face, tomato paste, but one thing, babe, you gotta face. Ooh, that's good taste. Ah, good taste. I mean good taste. Hey, baby, good taste. Well, you got good taste and I ain't drunk. Oh, wee, baby, yum, yum, yum. Oh, you got good taste. Good taste. Ooh, you got good taste. My baby, good taste. Both of them. Ah. You got good taste. You got good taste. You don't care. Sit on my lap. You know I know where it's at. Ooh, your good taste. Woo, baby, good taste. Yummy, yummy, good taste. Baby, baby, good taste. Woo, you must have snagged something in your fishnet stocking. You got something I can put my heart in. You
us if I can take it. They will take all they can get. Masturbate and smash the stage. It'll be so great. I just can't wait. Masturbate and smash the stage. For it's too late. Day by day they find us with their values. Horrific views on the TV, binding us in fear to the dollar. Freedom grows smaller, still we can't see. Masturbate and smash the stage. It'll be so great. I just can't wait. Masturbate and smash the stage. For it's too late. Day by day they sell away the forest, and they ignore us as we speak our mind. Some of us will still refuse to see it and disagree, choose to be blind. Masturbate and smash the stage. It'll be so great. I just can't wait. Masturbate and smash the stage. For it's too late. It's time to grab a hold of what they cannot take away. Although they keep on trying each and every day. Give it one big stroke for all of humankind. Don't give it more than one, or else we will go blind. Masturbate and smash the stage. It'll be so great. I just can't wait. Masturbate and smash the stage.
With a chance, with a chance, with a chance, with a chance. When the crowd gets busted, when the floor gets dusty, when your blade gets rusted, with a chance, with a chance. When your room smells funny, when a hex takes your money, what's gonna save you, honey? Just with a chance, with a chance. All you witches and all you old magicians,